my head. Where am I? And what am I? I feel nothing besides the dark urge that commands me to touch this pool of larva.
What are you doing?
Baldur's Gate 3, the newest installment in a series of video games from a time so ancient that CRPGs were still considered the pinnacle of game industry. Originally developed by legendary BioWare, the torch has now been passed to a studio that created a game where you can milk a man polymorphed into a cow. And it would seem that this genre can still attract a lot of attention, as we can see by checking some metrics. Holy shit, this game passed Goose Duck. In this video I will share my own experience of Baldur's Gate 3. Its glorious places, memorable characters, attention-grabbing tactical combat, and sex. All of it. While providing some criticism here and there, this video is focused on entertainment, because I love imagining that absurd scenario where my jokes actually land from time to time. With a fair warning that this video will contain some spoilers for Act 1, here is my first attempt at making you laugh. Did you guys know that Astarion is a vampire? In the truest Larian Studios fashion, the moment you wake up imprisoned on a big transport vessel while being mentally influenced by some device or some entity, shit's about to blow up from all directions. I too used to be an adventurer, but then my ship got attacked by red dragons, with a little brain dog freed by being punched real hard, and a space fascist frog lady brought to our side. Our next objective becomes clear. We must stay here for a second and appreciate this daunting yet magnificent view. Fine, I guess our real objective is to reach the helm with haste. I can see why people don't like you much. Somehow surviving a drop from a 5,000-foot height, we wake up at the edge of nowhere, with our minds quite literally being occupied by one thing. If we don't find a way to deal with a cute little worm that's been forcefully inserted inside our brain, we face a certainty of becoming Squidward's evil twin brother, in a process that can only be described as "I'm not sure I can show that on YouTube." Luckily, we don't have to go at it alone.
A hand? Anyone?
I have never refused a high five. Being a stellar example of CRPG genre, in this game you can gather a whole party for a collaborative engagement in proper tomfoolery. That is what we call burning innocent people alive in a blazing fire for shits and giggles at this corner of Faerun. And your choice of company is rather impressive. My personal favorite would definitely be big, red and angry woman with an unlocked ability to say fuck.
Yes.
Gotta be one of my favorite genders. Assembling most of our potential allies, Death Incarnate that obviously speaks Shakespearean English including, we face a foe that every D&D party at level 2 has faced before. Bunch of angry goblos who want to suck the marrow out of our bones. Being a group of trained killers as we are, and having no trouble taking them down, we are introduced to the first hub area of this game, where everybody is racist towards each other.
I wouldn't have looked to a drow for help.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't as well. We are kinda evil. I mean, we literally sacrifice people for spider goddess. Our society is a fucked up matriarchy. Most of our people live under oppression.
I meant no insult.
This place in itself presents a lot of notable characters and quests associated with them. Isolationist druids who look for an excuse to unalive a tiefling child. Tiefling kids who look for an opportunity to rob you of your fairly earned savings. Their bodies might not be found. And even Bard in a state of an art block, who can help craft the funkiest tune to ever bless our ears. You know, I heard subscribing to Takion might help.
It can't hurt.
Of course it can. But alas, our main goal is still to find a cure for our condition, and it's kind of suspicious how many different ways to deal with that are presented to us. contacting a race of militaristic toads who came from space to pillage and raid local villages, helping mentioned druids free their actual leader from being turned into a bear stew, agreeing to take help from an innocent granny who helps people out of pure heart, or maybe even making a deal with a handsome devil, a notoriously all-around great deal with no consequences, as we know from thousands of examples in popular culture. It might even be somewhat overwhelming for a new player how quickly this game grows branches in all directions, but that is the trick. It is almost impossible for you to start your adventure on the wrong foot. You are creating your own story right now by just moving forward. And my story started when I decided to exterminate every specimen of an unplayable race from the face of this earth. What the fuck is going on here?
What the hell are you doing?
Right. Eventually taking a break from that little slaughter, we end up in a somber place. One that smells worse than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar, full of annoying traps and elderly gnomes pretending to be ships. Okay, what is going on with my screen? Here you can find a bunch of dead bodies, maybe some buried treasures if you're lucky, and also a frog that has a nice reward if you kill it, but I'm not gonna spoil it for you. All around a great swamp experience of which even Miyazaki himself would approve. It even comes with a shocking twist at the end. Our grandma may not be so innocent.
You'll regret sticking your nose in my business.
He was awesome. I'll be on my way now. You know shit's about to get real when your minimap glows red. This place reeks of madness and desperance. Making obvious connections, we realize that deal with a hag is in fact a bad one. A man wishing to see future and going mad of all the possibilities unraveled in front of him. A woman with an ambition to become a genius and losing that head in the process. A thief trying to make a quick buck and losing his body in an attempt. Now he's just a door, the most terrible of fates. I too had a stable and functioning sanity until I put on a mask. She really is a quintessential hack, judging by the wicked type of humor. One that needs to be stopped if you're just like me and can't fathom a world where you're even slightly a bad guy towards 4 lines of code.
The thought of putting him in a wheelbarrow and making the journey all over again.
Maybe I can resurrect him. Well, yeah, I am positive such a low form of necromancy won't crush my soul under the unbearable weight of me breaking my oath to guard all life that is present to us. Oh fuck, I can't breathe.
You've broken your oath, Paladin.
How's it going, guys? My name is Takio, and today we're gonna be having a great time at Goblin's Camp. Here we will find an array of fun activities, such as drinking till you die, eating roasted dwarf, chasing the traumatized Albert cub that lost his mother during unknown circumstances. Goblins will have you covered on all sides of stupid, and the trio of leaders around this place is quite capable by goblin standards. One of them even proposes an opportunity to rid ourselves of our wiggling tadpole. But problem is, last night Harry Dubois himself invaded my dream and told me that eating worms is based, so I am not so sure now. I want to have a fuck with you. Finally, my dream comes true. Exploring the insides of this place is also an engaging activity. Going one certain way, we might find an abandoned tunnel that leads to a place called... Wait, how big is this game? But more on that later. All I can show you now is a funny minotaur. Goblins and their chieftains might be charming and all, but we must focus on our goal, what we came here for after all.
Subjecting ourselves to utmost cruelty in the act of masochism.
I mean, we must find the bear that tells us that we are morally obliged to kill every single living being inside this ruined temple. Maybe that's not exactly what he said, but you know me at this point. Genocide is okay if it's goblins. guts flying over the rooms is a great chance to talk about the mechanical parts of Baldur's Gate. As you may already know, this game is entirely based on D&D 5e rule set, a rule set in which progression is somewhat linear, but where it shines is in a variety of playstyles. Paladins nuking their enemies in the explosions of holy light, fighters overwhelming their opponents with a barrage of attacks, barbarians that are no longer bound by societal norms and can just wreck shit with no consequences, and even clerics who... let me check my notes. Well, they can cast a Bless, the best spell in the game when your party is full of martial classes like mine. From nerdy bookworms to adepts of martial arts, back to nerdy wizards who know a thing or two about being punched in the face. This game offers you an insane diversity of classes that will last you multiple playthroughs. Alright, that was the last of them. Time to celebrate this massacre.
I was hoping you'd spare me a moment. There was something rather magical I wish to show you.
Sorry, Gale. I'm more into a man that will actually just kill me. A firm belief manifests in your head. Nothing in this game can surprise me anymore. I've seen hyenas giving birth to gnolls, dungeons that are designed to incinerate anyone who dares to misstep, a whole spawn of teleporting spiders, accompanied by a bunch of the most horrendous creatures to ever have existed. Like, what the there is just nothing left. Perhaps it is a good time to finally make a... Wait, can I don't know what I expected. I still remember that moment in Elden Ring when I was in the process of being harassed by gargantuan bears, noticed a seemingly average building with an elevator inside, decided to take it out of curiosity, and it just kept going and going and going down, until I realized that these crazy bastards put a second game inside their main one. Arriving at the place called I truly hope Larian Studios didn't experience any crunch, we are immediately greeted by the atmosphere full of abnormal slumber. This place is trying to fool you into the idea that it is desolate and all its treasures are for your taking, except monsters that were born in the dark are fully aware of that idea. Besides the immediate threat of all the horrors lurking in the Underdark, this region has a lot of secrets for players to unravel, and this particular road leads to a GPU stress test that is a direct reference to Larian's previous game. Also might encounter a minigame where you have to reach the top by jumping on mushrooms, a great example of how this game uses verticality for an advanced level design. Or how about a mysterious arcane tower, long abandoned by its master, covered in dust and devoid of life, except this extremely huggable construct. At least I can experience it in a video game. And even in such a serene place, there is still room for conflict. Two main factions, a peaceful fungi hive mind, who only wishes for an unstoppable spread of his colony, and oppressive Dwergar that dabble in slavery and human trafficking. Also, necromancy. Can't be a bad guy without some necromancy. It would seem that on the spectrum of cosmic alignment, underground dwarves are more on a neutral evil side, so why not go for a holy crusade against them? After all, I'm here role-playing a goody two-shoes, or at least that's what I'm telling myself to sleep better at night. With an unnecessary violence transformed into an immediate peace, we can freely explore the Grimforge, and a sight to behold it is. An environment that tells a story. This place leaves you wondering what it looked like in its days of glory. And the holy grail of it, Adamantine Forge, is for us to claim, although there might be a slight inconvenience. There you go. It is honestly quite shocking how abandoned this place is.
Is there a pool party?
What the fuck?
You are not invited.
An unofficial final boss of Act 1, Eternal Protector of the Forge, is a foe to be taken seriously. His colossal stature, immunity to most types of damage, and an ability to pancake anyone in one hit makes him one of, if not the hardest boss fights. A battle that is at first viewed as unreasonably unfair, until you realize that this guy also becomes vulnerable to bludgeoning damage if he dips himself into the lava.
That tickles my knees.
And unfortunately for him, I brought the best person for a bunking duty. It is at the moments like this you see that this game is already goated. What a legendary moment. Truly a great finale for such an amazing experience. Not done yet, you say?
No.
Well then, let's see what else it has to offer.